Hi, I'm Nick Jensen, also known as Nick Brick, and what I have here is a couple of builds from Titanfall and Apex Legends. So this one is the Wingman Revolver, which originates from Titanfall 2 in this style, but the one I've built is the Apex Legends version. Now, Apex Legends Battle Royale style game set in the Titanfall universe. You find all kinds of different Titanfall guns, including some new ones. And this one, when I built it, was one of the best guns in the game. Now I'm not so sure. I haven't played it a little bit, but this is as it was in its first patch. So we got a 6-round cylinder, and we got the fully kitted version that has the 2x zoom scope. I think now it's a threat detector scope, if I'm not mistaken. Someone will correct it in the comments. But anyway, so this revolver is unique in the Titanfall universe. Every single gun has something unique about it. And even though it's just a standard revolver that would fire bullets, its reload function is just crazy. So you pull up on the top rail, it extends the bottom rail, and it also unlocks the cylinder so you can take it out.
So there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, it's super complex and a super unique animation to it. Now with the top rails closed, you can't take the cylinder out. It actually locks in place with a mechanism on the inside. Additionally, it has a moving trigger and a moving hammer. And it's somewhat scaled properly. We don't know for sure how big Titanfall or Apex guns are. There's no dimensions out there, but I think this is a pretty close guess.
Do you find with a weapon like this, when you got a lot on the front there, so it's very kind of front heavy, is that a struggle at all in terms of keeping everything together?
Absolutely. So with the grip, I built it with some sideways pieces so it can interlock and absorb some of the forces that way, so that you can hold it with one hand, hold it out, so that you can be a pretty cool cowboy kind of. Yeah, but
Get some style points there.
of course, it's difficult to build pistols, probably more so than rifles, just because when you're packing a lot of detail into a small space, and for the structure, you're not going to get a lot of room to work with. It's actually fairly fragile build, but it holds together pretty decent as long as you hold at the right angles and do the functions smoothly.
I like the little skull piece you've got on the side, or I guess a sticker there.
Yeah, that's from the Go Brick Me set. They had a little Lego skull sticker. I'm not sure exactly what graphic was supposed to be there. I think it's probably like one of the armories, but I thought that was a cool little detail just to throw it in there. So yeah, as a Titanfall fan, I also have some more Titanfall builds to show off. What we got here is the Scorched Titan, but painted as Kane's Scorch, the first boss you fight in the Titanfall 2 campaign. Titanfall 2 is one of my absolute favorite games of all time, like second only to Halo. It's just a blast to play. The multiplayer is amazing. It's super fluid, and you can just pick it up and play even a month in between games. Just remember how to play it. But anyway, this is one of my favorite mech designs in the game. I actually play a lot of Scorch in multiplayer, but I wanted to make it really unique to the game, so I decided to go with the version that you see in the campaign. So in the campaign, the Scorch is not tan and black like it is default in multiplayer. It's got this gray color scheme with orange highlights, and along the canopy opening is this giant flame grin, and it just goes with the sensor package to look like an angry flaming cyclops. Now, right now I have it where the hands are holding up these flames, but it could also hold this thermite launcher, which you would use a lot in the multiplayer to burn the other Titans and do some constant damage. It's fairly sturdy. It's still a Lego mecha, but it holds up pretty well. And with a giant tank mecha like this, you get a lot of room to fit in bigger joints that'll hold up its weight, that you can do a bunch of different poses. But it's still a little bit flimsy, so I'm not going to try to mess with any poses on camera. But yeah, it's one of my favorite Titan designs in the game, and it just looks so menacing.
Does the canopy open?
Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, I don't have the Kane the pilot inside, but it can fit a minifigure pilot. Oh man, it's not sticking. All right. Well, anyway,
Put that back on later.
yeah. Well, now we got the seat they would sit in. You can see the full minifigure, even with a helmet inside, which is something I try to focus on with the Titan builds. I want to have that playability function where you can seat a figure inside.
I like that. It's that extra element of sort of playability and realism there.
So the thing with these two Titanfall and Apex builds, I actually do have instructions for these on my YouTube. I don't have instructions for the scope on this or the display stands, but you can build your own Apex Legends Wingman Revolver with the video on my channel, as well as a Scorched Titan, and of course with links to parts lists and all that. So it should be a fairly simple process. It's not going to be perfectly smooth, but I don't work for Lego, so it's gonna be the best that a fan can do.
That's understandable. That's fantastic. So that's over on Nick Brick. You can check those out, the YouTube channel. So talk a little bit about that process then of sort of making instructions and what that's like for your builds.
So I guess the general idea that most fans would have is that the instructions exist before the model is made, and it's not the case with what I do. I always build from scratch or digitally design first, and then after the fact, after I've done all the photos and the video and whatnot, that I would go back and take it apart and make step-by-step instructions that should be fairly easy to follow. It's quite the process, and it has to be done after the model is complete. So if you're requesting instructions for something I've never built, it just doesn't work that way. For me personally, the model has to be built first and then instructions later, if they're done at all.
Okay, that makes sense though. But yeah, that's a lot of dedication then to making that. But I think that's a fantastic resource for people who maybe want to get into doing these builds themselves.
Yeah, I hope that part of what I want to come out with the instructions is, well, of course, for someone to build a model that they like from a game or a movie that they like. But the other thing is maybe to learn some of the techniques that I demonstrate in it and apply it to your own builds, which is totally cool. That's one of the coolest things that you could do with that is use my techniques, do better things with it, make a better model than I did. You can totally do it.
It's hard. It's hard to improve on your work, Nick, but it might be possible.
Thank you. But it definitely is possible. There's a lot of great builders that are emerging in like replica weapon making and of course mecha. So yeah, I hope to see bigger and better stuff than what I do. That's why I hope to get out of posting these instructions and all that.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking us through the builds. And once again, everyone watching, look for a link in the description to Nick's YouTube channel where you can check out his other builds as well as those instructions he mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you.